Hi, I'm Katie Kempner, and welcome to Perspectives here at Advertising Week on the Huffington Post live stage. Perspectives is a series of inspiring conversations with remarkable working women who are balancing busy lives, and I am very excited to start the day off talking with the CMO of Ogilvy, Lauren Crampsie. Welcome.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I've wanted to talk with you for a long time.
I know. We've been exchanging Twitter tweets back and forth. And we just finally, thankfully, we're connecting here.
So let's just jump right in and talk a little bit. You've had such an amazing career at Ogilvy, and let's just talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. So I've been at Ogilvy for 10 years in June. I started as a coordinator in the new business department, and then just sort of worked my way up from new business coordinator to running the new business department to CMO of the US, which at the time was a new position for the company, and now global CMO. So it's funny, I always say to people, you think you want the express lane.
Yeah.
And then you sort of get to your destination and you're kind of like, wait, maybe I wanted to see Mount Rushmore and the Grand Canyon, and maybe I wanted to stop in Vegas and gamble a little bit. And so, you know, I'm all joking aside, I'm incredibly lucky that the agency has embraced me and rewarded me the way they have over the past 10 years.
You have been really, really lucky. I've also been like at the same agency and then the holding company the whole time, and I think it's so lucky to find a company that you really fit well with, that really rewards you for hard work.
Absolutely.
Are there any things throughout your time there, throughout your career, things that you've done that you think are important for other women to know when trying to build their career at an agency?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been the one woman surrounded by men. I mean, that has been from the minute I first started going to meetings with the executive team to, you know, even meetings that I have been in today or yesterday. I mean, it's just sort of the way that it is, and it just sort of feels, even though I know in many ways it's unnatural or shouldn't feel natural, it's just sort of the only thing I've known. And working in the new business department, obviously the only people that touch new business in not just agencies, but any companies are the C-suite, because growth is such an important aspect of any organization. So I've been very used to sort of having that stage with an executive team, even when I was in my early 20s, first starting at the agency. And I think what women forget a lot of the times is that men do not have the EQ, IQ balance that we have. And that balance is so key to success, and being able to bring that emotional intelligence to a business problem, to a personnel problem, to a client problem. It's so critical for success of any organization, and men just don't have it in the same way we do. So there's been so many moments where I'll watch, men just sort of battle each other and duke it out and kind of go back and forth, and I'm the one that sort of has to say, gentlemen, let's think about what the consumer is feeling during this, or let's think about what that one person within our organization is feeling, or let's think about what the client is feeling, and not doing it in a way that feels, roses and rainbows,
right,
but doing it in a way that feels like it's a piece of the big picture. And bringing both of those sides of the coin to the table has always been what's fared well for me in situations where I'm, the minority from a gender standpoint.
Do you think, as you've been going, climbing the ladder, so to speak, or I should say your career trajectory, being young and being beautiful, do you think that has been things that you've had to sort of overcome, really? Or has it had different challenges?
I think in the beginning, being young was something I had to overcome. In the past 3 years, it's been a strength. And it's funny, I was interviewed when I got the global CMO job, and I was 4 months pregnant when I got that promotion.
Really?
Which made it even more crazy. But one of the things I said was that I actually think youth is my biggest strength. And I really truly do believe that. I think in the beginning of my career, I had to overcome it because there was more of a stigma around youth. It was more, no, we want someone with more experience, or she hasn't had enough experience, she doesn't have as many years of maturity about her, so we need someone that's a little more tenured. Now it's, oh, she's on the cutting edge.
Right.
She knows, what all the millennials are doing, and she knows how to maybe help with the younger people in the organization,
Right.
how to keep them motivated, and she knows what's happening in social media. And so I think in the beginning of my career, it was a hindrance and it was something I had to overcome. Now it feels like it's a celebration.
Because advertising prizes youngness so much.
Yes.
So
yes.
you touched upon the fact that you were pregnant when you got this new role. I'd like to switch gears a little bit and just talk about the way that you balance. Now, some people hate the word balance. I don't know how you feel about it. How do you balance all the different aspects of your life, having a big career and also having a son and a husband?
Yeah, I don't mind the word balance because I think balance is not just about how I balance myself, but it's also about how I balance my marriage, how I balance my son. And what I mean when I say that is, how do I make sure, if you look at my son, for example, how do I make sure his days are as balanced as they possibly can be in terms of the people that he's exposed to through the hours of 7 to 7? So for me, I don't necessarily believe that him being exposed to only mommy for 12 hours of the day gives him the balance that he needs to be the most fulfilled and rich child. I believe that him being exposed to me for a couple hours and then school for a couple hours and then a music class for a couple hours or other nannies at the park for a couple hours, etc., that gives him the balance that he needs to be an enriched child, and then that makes me feel more balanced because I'm giving him that. And I feel the same way about my marriage. With my husband and I, because we're off doing our own thing during the day and then come together at night or in the mornings to share our experiences, the balance that we find separately gives us more balance together as a couple. And then when I look at my job, I mean, luckily enough, when you, and this is part of one of the best things about staying within the same company is you build such strong equity and people trust that you're going to get the job done on your own terms.
Yeah.
And I've been very lucky at Ogilvy that I've been able to decide when, Mama needs a work from home day because I know I haven't spent as much time with my son as I would have liked to this week, and I'm just going to work from home and spend time with him, or I need to go in a little late today because he has a big day at school, or I need to go home early, or whatever the case may be. I think because my organization knows and understands that I'm going to get the job done regardless, they're okay with that, and that's also part of the reason why I've been able to find that balance.
So for somebody that isn't as senior as you, how do you think that, do you have any advice to how they also can make these boundaries for themselves and be able to say, like, look, I'm going to do this now, but I need to take my son or daughter to the doctor now?
One of the most important things for women in all aspects of their lives is honesty.
Yeah.
The more honest and open you can be with every single person in your life, the better you will feel and the better life you will have. So it's sitting down with your manager and having that open and honest conversation. Look, I am going to give you 125% effort on whatever goals and tasks you give me. It just might mean that it's 125% effort at this time, and then I'm with my son, and then I'm back on 125%, the next day. But at the end of the day, I'm going to get the job done, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that job done, again, on my terms.
Yeah.
And have that open and honest conversation up front. And even, as if you're someone who's maybe looking for a new job and looking at different companies, don't be afraid of having that conversation in the interview process, because you don't want to lie, then just to get a job, then find yourself in a situation where what you need for yourself to feel good about you being a mother or a wife or whatever the case may be is a more flexible work schedule, a more flexible work-life balance. So I think honesty is so key. And then also simple questions around, is there a flex time policy at the company? What are the benefits for working mothers? What are some things that are available to me? Being able to know what types of questions to ask and not being afraid of asking those questions. I think that's so important.
That's terrific advice, because you need to feel empowered yourself.
Absolutely.
When you're looking for a place where you're going to be spending all this time,
absolutely,
you need to make sure that it's an environment you want to be in as well. And I think sometimes women especially, but men too, lose sight of that because they think, I just have to do it the way they've been doing it or the way they do it.
Right.
So I wanted to just end this interview. I like to ask, ask if there's one piece of advice that's really helped guide you through your career that you could share with us.
I think for me, it's just follow your gut and follow your instincts. I mean, my gut and instincts have never, ever, ever led me astray. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier about the EQ, IQ. I think women have more powerful intuition than anyone else, and being able to embrace that and just know that if I'm feeling it deep down here, if I'm feeling that maybe this isn't the right situation, or if I'm feeling that I deserve that raise, or if I'm feeling that I deserve that promotion, like if you're feeling it, it's right. And I think that you can't be afraid of that, and you need to just embrace it and be fearless when it comes to following your gut.
That's excellent advice. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Katie. Thank you so much.